Greetings all. Welcome to Aquarian Diary. I'm your host, John Irving. It is February 12th, 2024. Dates mentioned in this episode are calculated for the Eastern North America time zone. As usual, see the description for links to related episodes. As I mentioned in my recent Pre-Equinox Astrology episode, which I published very early on February 11th, Mars enters Aquarius at 1:05 a.m. tomorrow morning, February 13th. Mars will conjunct Pluto exactly at 1:06 a.m. on February 14th. They will be within a very tight 2-degree orb through February 16th, and within a 5-degree orb through February 20th. This is one of the most volatile and potent combinations of energies, especially if it occurs in close proximity or aspect to a significant point in your natal chart. With this aspect, it is not uncommon for pent-up anger, resentment, or even rage or violence to burst forward in surprising and dramatic ways. It could originate from within yourself, or it could be externally expressed by others. This can be related to people, organizations, or institutions that attempt to forcibly dominate or control us, or even harm us. Needless to say, conflict can result. Bear this in mind in your dealings with others and avoid risky or dangerous situations, people, or places during this time if possible. Also beware of expressing yourself or acting in rash ways that you may regret later when this energy subsides. A good way to express this energy is through physical activity, being careful to avoid injury or accidents resulting from overconfidence or rashness, especially with sharp implements or tools. Another way to benefit from this transit is to pay close attention to the nature and condition of any anger, resentment, or sense of injustice or victimization that arise or that this triggers within your psyche. Much of this may have been formerly unexpressed or not totally conscious. Make notes of this, as it can point to shadow work or therapy that you can focus on later when the energies settle down. This can be extremely helpful in releasing yourself from past traumas. Venus will enter Aries at 11:06 a.m. on February 16th, and will conjunct Pluto exactly at 3:48 a.m. on February 17th, thus forming a very potent stellium with Mars and Pluto. It would not be surprising if what is triggered relates to sexual trauma from this life or past lives. Again, this is occurring at the very first degree of Aquarius, which Pluto just re-entered on January 20th of this year. Aquarius deals with society at large, that's broader society, social justice, causes and groups and organizations related to those kinds of activities, our dreams and hopes for the future, and technology, including the internet. Regrettably, with the involvement of Venus, this combination likely deals with violent abuses of the feminine, whether in the past or in the present. Pluto can represent abuses of power, control, domination, oppression, victimization, and subjugation. In Aquarius, it may represent systemic abuses or human rights abuses resulting from state or military action or warfare. It would not surprise this astrologer if these themes arise or come to light during this period, and they may be shocking. It behooves humanity to confront and reconcile traumas and injustices, whether recent or from the distant past. They fester within our collective unconscious, or psyche, and are passed from generation to generation, whether we are aware of this, or acknowledge this, or not. To stop unconsciously perpetuating this and other vicious cycles, we must confront them honestly, sincerely, and responsibly. We must do this for ourselves, for society, and for future generations. On February 19th, at 4:30 a.m., the North Node conjuncts Chiron at 16 degrees and 45 minutes of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars, of course. Again, the theme of trauma related to the masculine. Chironic energies are never easy to confront, but this aspect speaks to bringing deep wounding to our conscious awareness and self-expression. It implies that the timing of this is fated. The South Node, which speaks to the past, is transiting Libra. Libra seeks peace and harmony and is ruled by loving and compassionate Venus. Given that this is occurring very near the recent ingress of Pluto in Aquarius, I predict that this will be a theme for years to come. The reconciliation of and social justice pertaining to abuses and subjugation of the divine feminine. Venus can also represent the natural world and the nature spirit realms, which I have also talked about here before, and which have been subject to rapacious and unbridled opportunistic destruction by humans for millennia. Such acts are clearly a manifestation of the lower aspects of the divine masculine. Thus, the themes I have discussed extend to our precious and vulnerable natural world as well. Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, is currently transiting Taurus, as is Jupiter. Venus rules Taurus as well as Libra, again drawing our awareness to the natural realms and the land. Again, we must heal and transform our relationship with feminine principles, including the natural world, which provides us with incredible bounty and sustenance. Those who seek to oppress or harm the divine feminine expression are acting against their own interests. Ultimately, it is unnatural, self-defeating, and nihilistic. Events that transpire during this time may be quite disturbing and unwelcome. However, in the long run, they may initiate a cycle of much-needed awareness, heart-based healing and transformation. Healing that will help us transform and regenerate our collective psyche in critically important ways. As we can see, a tremendous amount of powerful and important information can be deduced from astrological transits on both the personal and collective level. In the age of Aquarius, we will begin to learn and master collective consciousness that profoundly affects us in ways we barely understand. It is our destiny. Mastery begins with conscious awareness. Denial of truth is not an option. If during this time the divine feminine is attacked by lower expressions of masculine energy, know that this is not the way. It is merely an expression of their own unresolved, wounding, vulnerability, and weakness. There are a lot of major changes occurring right now astrologically and over the next couple years. We're going to have Neptune changing signs. We're going to have Uranus changing signs. We're going to have Saturn changing signs. Pluto changing signs recently alone is huge. And so this is a really good time to get a lay of the land before these things happen with your own personal astrology. I know from a lot of people I'm talking to that there are major changes taking place. Often, as expected, people tend to request readings when major things are happening that they don't understand. But I would highly encourage you to be proactive and get a reading beforehand so that you have some mental preparation for what might be coming up. It can be extremely helpful. You don't want to leave it to the last minute. And I do have a special going on right now for readings. Again, for more detail, check the episode description for other episodes or articles that are related or that I mentioned. And if you're interested in a reading with me, I'll put a link to that as well. I have a 20% off special on currently. Many sincere thanks to everyone who supports me, especially my YouTube members. Thank you very much. Take care, all the best, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.